Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. If you are listening live, it is the 4th of uh, February, good Lord, the 4th of November at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I also want to welcome you to the show. I want to let you know that we are over in the chat room, and you can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. I also want to let you know that I am live streaming this event so you can watch rather than listen, and you can do that by heading over to YouTube or Facebook and look for Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that little red button. Well, obviously subscribe if you would, and look there for that little red button for alerts that will then let you know when I'm going live so that you don't miss a show. And that's how it works. And YouTube says that's foolproof. It's not, but it's something. It's something, at least. When I say hi to the chatters, right? Yeah. Full moon eve, and then a few days later, Mercury goes retro for 20 days. I don't know. Seems like a conspiracy to me. I hope you guys had a good Halloween. If you dressed up, tell me what you're dressed up as. I'm always curious to know. We did a couple's costume this year, much to Scott's dismay. You know, as much as Scott loves Halloween, he's not a dress-up guy. And I can't tell you how many costumes I bought for him over the years that he then didn't even wear. And this time I just made something simple. I just made headwear. But I did talk him into wearing it, though, which was kind of a miracle. So this is what it was. So the cork headband and the cork earrings were mine. And then the hat with the wire were his. Can you guess? I was the cork and he was the screw. That's what it's like to be in here, okay? That's what it is like. Oh, crazy. Last weekend, while I was in Salt Lake, Scott texted me and said, I just bought a rooster. And I was like, we got rid of our roosters. Why are we getting a new rooster? Well, when we got rid of our roosters, we had saved 2 and 1 died the next day. Figure that shit out. I can't. But he was reading that if you can get a hold of this certain kind of roosters that are all black, that you can, if you breed them with your white chickens, you get what they call a zombie chicken. That are, yeah, they're weird. They're creepy. They're right up Scott's alley, right? And amazingly, right, maybe we gave away his lover. I guess so. Died of a broken heart. Maybe Roscoe killed him. You're going to meet Roscoe today. Anyway, so apparently these black chickens are hard to find, and he was looking to just maybe buy an egg and incubate it and try and hatch one or something. But he actually found someone here in our town that had one, which was a shock, and also wanted $20 for it, which was a big shock because these are expensive chickens. Anyway, but please meet Giovanni. Look how handsome he is. He's all black, but these iridescent feathers. He is gorgeous in the sun. But you can see even his comb and his wattle are mostly black. Now, the most prized ones, all of that is black. And he's got a little red, but it's not nearly as red. I mean, it's blackish. It's not nearly as red as Roscoe. So I made 2 little videos of the 2 roosters so that you can meet them both. So I'll introduce you to Roscoe first. This is Roscoe. Roscoe rules the roost around here. He is head rooster. In fact, he was the only rooster until we added a very sexy, fancy black rooster to the roost a couple weeks ago. And he's still mostly hiding out and staying up high. But he's going to create some really cool chicks with all of these white birds. They call them zombie chickens. Excited for that. But in the meantime, look how cool Roscoe is. He has no interest in sharing his harem with anybody else. So not sure exactly how that's all going to go down, but for now, he is the one strutting around out here. Telling everybody what to do, getting all the adoration from all the ladies. That's Roscoe. All right. And then I didn't think I'd be able to get a video of Giovanni because he's been hanging out mostly in the chicken coop up high. But he came out. So it's not, he's kind of in the shade, so you don't get to see the beauty of his feathers as much. But you still got to meet Giovanni because he is something. This is tall, dark, and handsome. This is Giovanni. He's the new rooster that will hopefully sire the zombie chickens in the spring. Thanks, Nell, for that. He is. Nearly all black, iridescent feathers. He's a man of mystery. Isn't he beautiful, though? I mean, they both are. They're both cool as hell. But you gotta love Roscoe. I mean, he's a big dude. He struts his stuff. He takes care of his ladies. He's a pretty good boy. And I will say, I've had hens in the past where the roosters they're hard on them. Like you'll notice the feathers on their backs are getting pulled out, and sometimes they have little injuries from being spurred and stuff, and it's gross. It's awful, and you hate the roosters for doing that to the hens. And I know he's breeding the hens because some of the eggs are coming in with bullseyes in them, which usually means that they have been fertilized, but which is fine, by the way. Fertilized eggs are just eggs, and unless they were to be incubated, they're just eggs, so don't worry. But if you have an egg that the yolk has a little bullseye in it, that usually means that egg has actually been fertilized. But at any rate, the hens look really good. I was really giving him a good look over yesterday. Just wanting to make sure nobody's getting beat up, nobody's being singled out. Because we have a second chicken coop. We could always move some hens if we needed to, if we had a problem. This is a big coop. They have a lot of room, so they should be fine. But you never know. Sometimes you'll have a chicken that, one of the guineas earlier this year was kind of that way, that everybody starts picking on them, and they will die if you don't do something about it, because once they're bloody, chickens are assholes. They really can be. So, hey, Jess. Joined the conversation just at that time. Anyway, so really pretty proud of Roscoe because he's not beating up on the hens. I don't see anybody with loose feathers or any kind of injuries. None of them act afraid or like they're, hunkering down somewhere to stay out of sight. They all just look really good. So anyhow, really happy with this flock so far. And thus far, there hasn't been any real trouble with Giovanni, so hopefully they can get along and do well, and we'll have zombie chicks in the spring, I guess. Dear God. Okay. Crazy stuff. I know, but you guys know. You know what it's like around here. Let me get Luminous pulled up here. And you believe we actually were making plans today for when we're doing Cookie Day. It's nearly Thanksgiving. Good Lord. This year has gone quick. I've started buying Christmas presents and making them. Like, what? It is happening fast. All right. Well, let's get Luminous up. So, nope. Okay. All right. Sorry. I've been playing with our templates here so I can get exactly the right one. I was thinking about paint. Partly because I had a pain incident on Wednesday or on Saturday that super sucked. Right. Invention is the, what is it? Invention is the mother of necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention. That's right. Finally. Okay. Uh, I have a jaw situation every once in a while, and it's always on my left or my right side. This jaw will just go crazy. Is it because I'm usually careful. There's just, I can't chew hard stuff. I just can't. So, did I eat something I shouldn't have? Did we just have like steak too many times this week? We didn't. I don't know why it happened. We hadn't had something for dinner the night before that was hard to eat. I don't know what happened, but it doesn't really matter. With autoimmune disorders, sometimes you just don't know. It just happens. But I woke up on Saturday with a really bad jaw. Oh. And so, if you have chronic pain, you start pulling out your bag of tricks, the things that normally work, and finding something. And then hopefully you'll remember that next time that certain thing flares up so that you can take care of it correctly. And luckily, my bag of tricks on my jaw, I'm pretty well schooled now on that. It means you're going soft foods for probably a week, which is fine. And you are going to only drink warm things for a while because drinking cold stuff, for whatever reason, just makes it worse. And you're going to put certain salves on it. And yeah, I mean, I just have my routine, right? That works. And it worked. I've had this jaw flare up before when it did this for like a week, and it is just excruciating. In fact, like wearing a headphone really hurts and stuff. But yay me, woke up Sunday morning with no jaw pain. Still stiff, still on jaw rest for a few more days. I'm not going to be stupid, but so much better. But it got me thinking about pain and how we deal with pain and maybe some better tools for pain. And these are some things that I do and some things I just came across in research thinking about pain. So I wanted to share these things with you, partly because it's getting cold. And I know that a lot of us that are autoimmune patients or have arthritis and whatnot, cold kind of, can make it worse, can trigger it. Like I said, as can a million things. Daylight savings sometimes is a horrible trigger for me. This time I think I'm fine, but it's been a bigger trigger for the pigs because they can't figure out why they're not getting fed on time. Like, come on, man. Pigs are master time tellers. they're, they're so pissed off right now. But anyway. So we're talking about pain and noetic and metaphysical techniques or strategies to cope with pain. This could be emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain. We're just talking about pain. Okay. Pain is a storyteller. When you are in pain, your body's telling you something. It's yelling the alarm, right? It has pulled the fire alarm when the pain starts. It's telling you something within you is unhappy. One thing I learned a long time ago is acknowledging it made a huge difference, particularly with headaches. I went through a period where I had a lot of headaches. I rarely have a headache now, very rarely. But I went through a period where I was getting them, like the ones that happen up here that actually start in the back of your neck. Do you know this? So your sinus nerves are these little tiny nerves that run from the back of your neck over your head, and then they enter your head above your eyebrows in little tiny holes. If the back of your neck is inflamed or really tight or having a problem, that can result in those horrific headaches up here. If you'll treat your neck and get the inflammation back there straightened out, a lot of times this straightens out. And I'm surprised at how many people don't know that. But anyway, if you're getting that pain in your forehead that feels like sinus pain, but you don't necessarily have a sinus infection or something, take care of your neck. You might not have even realized it. I think the back of our necks tend to get tight and tense because of the way we sit, because of the way we're looking at our phones, because of the way you might sit while you drive, or your pillow, or the way you're sleeping, or just the tension you're carrying in your body, or whatever you're carrying, emotionally or spiritually on your shoulders. All of those things, in my opinion, can contribute to that kind of pain. So, hey, Kev. Pamela's feeling it today too. Yeah, winter is coming. Though we are still having fall. I was demanding fall until Thanksgiving, and I'm not so sure we're not going to get it. This whole next 10 days looks like beautiful fall weather to me. Yeah, Kevin, I know yours does a lot, and mine does too sometimes. Luckily, not for a long time, but I totally understand that kind of pain. But anyway, when I was going through that period, I realized that if I would acknowledge it, I realized what I was trying really hard to do was ignore it away. Just ignore the pain. Hopefully, it will just fucking stop, right? But it wasn't stopping. It was getting worse and worse. And I discovered that if I would put my hand on that spot and send some energy into it and acknowledge it and say, I know that you're hurting. I understand. I feel it. I'm acknowledging this. I was amazed at how much pain got better when I just acknowledged it rather than ignored it. I think that is an extremely easy thing that you can do, but I have a lot more suggestions for you. But that's a very easy thing. And if you think about your pain, and if that's what you're doing, and I think we're kind of conditioned to do that, to be honest, it might be time to do something a little different. So, and again, we could be talking about emotional pain besides physical, ancestral, energetic, spiritual. There's a lot of places that pain comes from. You know that the body remembers everything. We know that cellular memory is really powerful. We have all had experiences where a certain day is just more painful than another. And then you look at the calendar and remember, oh, yeah, so and so died on this day. Or, oh, yeah, it was on this day 4 years ago that I got in that terrible accident. Or whatever it is, right? Or so and so broke up with me. Or, whatever it is that created an immense amount of pain. Your body doesn't forget that. Your cellular memory remembers. And I think it's interesting that memories, like anniversaries of those kinds of pains, sometimes bring them forward, even if you don't know why you're feeling that way. It's wild. But what if we stopped battling pain and we started partnering with it so that we could actually treat ourselves in a more gentle way? I'm not telling you not to take the Tylenol, right? I'm not telling you not to go to physical therapy or not visit the doctor or have the surgery. I'm not telling you anything like that. There is a place for Western medicine. There is a place for metaphysics. They can be partners. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. Once upon a time, here in the new agey world, I would say 10, 15 years ago, there was a big, yucky push trying to convince people that they shouldn't go to the doctor and shaming people that did. And I hate it. I hate that any of us fell for that. I probably did too for a while. I hate it. It's bullshit. Go to the doctor. Take care of yourselves. But if you'd like more techniques and things to try first and ways to empower yourself, then think about these things. But you will never in your life hear this guy tell you not to take care of yourself and go to the doctor when you need to. Absolutely not. I will also never, ever, 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 ever tell you not to take your meds. Ever. Did I say ever? Yeah, ever and ever. Okay. So let's talk about what pain is. Pain is energy. It's a body perspective. Pain is your body or your spirit, your energy body crying out for something. When you see pain from an energetic perspective, it's usually understood as stagnation or constriction or pressure around a place. It's where you feel life force energy not flowing smoothly. Sometimes that spot will feel particularly hot or particularly cold. People feel things differently, like as an energy worker. Uh, Sometimes it's because of an injury, right? Sometimes you guys call me up and you say I broke my leg, and now I can't get grounded and I feel weird. And I go, yeah, let's work on that, because when you have an injury or a surgery or something like that, it definitely can interrupt your natural flow. Will you correct that on your own eventually? Yeah, you will. But if you want some help correcting it faster, I can help you do that. Pain itself, oh, sometimes before we go there, sometimes pain is linked to other things: emotion, trauma, unresolved stories, nervous system overwhelm. You ever go through grief of somebody close to you? I would say that nearly all of you have, right? Were you shocked at how much your body hurt? Grief is incredibly physically painful. It sucks. It's terrible. I didn't understand that until my mom died. I couldn't believe how much pain I was in. But what I learned is that grief hurts a lot. Emotional pain can be very physically painful. But when we meet pain in a different way, because we've been taught you have to either ignore pain or fight pain, right? So if you meet pain with fear, anger, and tension, what happens? Your body just contracts more. You get tighter, right? And getting more constricted, more contracted, hurts more. And also, you're already in pain. You're already exhausted, and now you have to go to war. You don't have to go to war. What if you met pain with presence, with acknowledgement, with breath, with softness? What if you met pain with kindness? What if you looked at pain as a cry for help rather than an attack on your system? And you took care of it. And you took care of your body instead of being mad, angry, inconvenienced, afraid, yada, yada, yada. Meditation for pain. It's not about ignoring your pain. It's not about some kind of transcendence at meditation that is going to take you clear out of your body. It's about acknowledging that pain in your body. It's about being kind to it. If you go out to lunch with your friends and someone at the table is crying, do you ignore them or give them a dirty look or be outright hostile? Of course you don't, right? You ask them what's wrong. You might put your arms around them. Maybe you'll hand them a tissue or hold their hand. You'll probably make some sort of physical contact. Why? Because it's your inherent nature to touch them, to bring your touch to help them to feel better. And maybe you don't touch them, but a lot of people do, but the point is you most likely would acknowledge their pain in some way. I see you. I see you're hurting. I recognize it. I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry that you're hurt. I want to help, right? That's typically your response when somebody that you care about is hurting, is crying at the table, right? So why don't we do that for ourselves? It's just the conditioning that we've received. It just is. So here's an idea, an easy practice for meditation for pain. So sit comfortably or lay comfortably. Do whatever's most comfortable for you regarding what kind of pain you're in, right? Then place a hand on or near the area of discomfort. Then just start breathing. Breathing in slowly, imagining warm light filling your ribs. On the exhale, whisper. You can say this aloud or in your head. I am here with you. You are not alone. At least this time, don't try to change it. Just be with it. All you're doing is just bearing witness. You're just paying attention, right? You're not alone. I am here. I see you. I'm with you. That's all. And just sit with that for a few minutes. This doesn't have to be a long meditation. Doesn't have to be anything else specific. You're just feeling it. You're placing your hand on it. You're letting that light swell in you, and you're bearing witness. All right. How about tapping? You guys tap? Tapping is so interesting. I used to use tapping with my kids when they had to have a shot or a trip to the dentist, things like that. And I was always amazed at how much it helped them and how easy that was to just incorporate into whatever it was that was happening. Amazing. So EFT or tapping, it helps to calm the part of your brain that interprets pain as a threat. What happens when you feel like you're being threatened? Physically threatened? What does that trigger for you? Fear? Fight or flight? Anger? Just the last thing you need at this moment is to be pissed off at yourself. Yourself needs you, right? So tap along your meridian points. And I did in my tips this week, I have a chart of meridian points. So we'll get to that. But tap your meridian points, whatever ones you choose, while breathing slowly and kindly. And you're just tapping with 2 fingers. Just tap, 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 tap. You're not putting a bruise on yourself. And I usually tap like probably a little bit more than 1 a second. But I also just trust, like, what do I need here? Do I need like a bigger tap, faster tap, or a more constant tap? That's how I do it. I'm sure there's a more technical way to do that, but I usually just trust that I know. So here's what you say while you're tapping. Even though I feel this pain, I choose to be gentle with myself. Even though this hurts, I am safe in this moment. I allow my body to soften now. And you'll be amazed how quickly you let down whatever tension, wherever you were holding it. And you might even be surprised to discover, oh, low back, weird. I didn't know that's where I was holding any of this. But you'll find yourself settle. Do that several times. And then just maybe keep tapping for another minute or 2. Tapping's crazy good for this stuff. What about sound therapy? We use it on the show. We've been using it for years. Not enough, I realize. But sometimes sound works where nothing else really can. Sound is speaking directly to your nervous system and to your energetic field and just doing the work for you. So a few frequencies that help. 174 hertz alleviates physical tension. 396 releases fear and stored trauma. And 528 soothes the heart and cellular stress. Now you might be wondering, where the hell do I find those hertz? How would I even know? Go to YouTube. You'll find them. You will find them, I promise. There are a lot of creators that are really trying to put out meditations that are really helpful. And looking at this is exactly where it's at. Okay. Please recommend where to buy crystal bowls. You know what? Bought all my crystal bowls off of eBay. Of course, that was years ago, so I can't say for sure now, but I bought all of mine off of eBay and did really well. I was happy with them. Just look for people that they share a video so that you can actually hear the bowl. That's more important. Well, it's important for all of them because with crystal bowls, you you don't want the rim to be smooth, but you also don't want it to be too coarse. There's a spot there. There's a sweet spot. If it's too coarse, it'll just strips the leather off of your clapper and you have a hard time maintaining contact. But if it's too slick, you also have a hard time getting that resonance to start. I know. But so that's why if I were you, I would want to see somebody make it sing. I want to hear it. I want to see if I'm hearing a lot of the clapper, like scrubbing around it. I want to see if I'm seeing bits of leather flying off of it. I have had bowls that are like that before. Some of my really big ones were like that. Uh, and I want to see how long does it take you? Do you give it a little whack first? I do because it's faster and per the show. Like that's usually more helpful. But or are you just starting and you're just getting it to start really climbing and giving you that resonance? The question is, how hard do you have to work to make this bowl sing? Right? So I look for sellers that show you, that have a video that you can see the bowl in action. That's my best advice, Lillian. You can always send me a link too, and I'll look too and give you my opinion. Okay. So yes, playing a singing bowl, amazing to just sit with for a while. Native American flute music is amazing for stress. Binaural beats, solfeggio tones, really, really good for all of the things we're talking about here. Humming is powerful. Humming stimulates the vagus nerve and signals calm to the body. And for some people, so does whistling. Yeah, some people just whistle when they're happy or just whenever they're doing something. Well, I don't know how to whistle. Believe it or not, I can't whistle. Some people, we don't have the right, I don't know, chompers. We don't have the right mouth set up. I can't roll my tongue either. Apparently, it's genetic. Isn't that weird? Yeah. But my mom couldn't roll her tongue either. When she was in college, I was a kid when my mom was in college, and for one of her stats classes, she did a study, a poll on if you could roll your tongue or not. So she made my sisters and I sit at a table on campus with a big poster board that said, "Can you roll your tongue?" And so we had all these students coming up and showing us that yes, they could or no, they couldn't. And that's actually a genetic thing, which is completely crazy. But I cannot roll my tongue, nor can I whistle. Sad day. But some people whistle to calm themselves, just like humming. Jane said whistling stresses her out. Interesting. Oh, Tara's big crystal bowl was her engagement. Haha, that's amazing. I love it. Lillian can only whistle by blowing in. Interesting. Yeah, it's wild, huh? Pamela said, what about those units that you can buy that produce different frequencies? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I have one on my desk right here. And yes, they create different frequencies. I will tell you, I've had a hard time figuring out how to adjust this. But yeah, there's units you can buy that you can adjust frequencies so that you have that frequency in the room with you. It may not be something that's louder that you even can hear with the naked ear, but they are helpful. Yeah. Okay. Micro movement. This is the gentle unwind. Pain worsens when the body braces or guards. Did you know one of the reasons that cold aggravates pain is because you may be clenching or tensioning up without realizing it because you're cold? you get tight to hold heat in your body. So make sure that you are warm. Turn up the thermostat and everyone else can just suck it. Wear a parka indoors or a hoodie. Wear socks. Have a heated blankie. Whatever. But getting cold, and plan well when you go out. Getting cold is a big part of what makes you hurt. Or sorry, when you get cold, tensioning up is a big part of why you hurt. So there's a gentle unwinding because it also, you tense up sometimes when you're stressed, just when you're in pain in general, when you're worried, all of those reasons and others, right? Stretching hard and pushing through might not be things that are that loving and tender for your body. So what if you do some gentle unwinding? Just start swaying your body side to side. This is gentle. We're not out here to hurt yourself. We're not out here to snap you in half, right? This is gentle, swaying from side to side. Move like you're slowly waking up from sleep. Yeah, when you first wake up, you probably do a little stretching before you ever even climb out of bed. Move your body that way. Just a little stretch, right? Maybe you stretch your legs a little bit. Maybe you just move your shoulders a little bit, but just some really easy stretching. And then any movement that feels relieving, follow that one. Maybe do a little bit more of that or sit with it. This is how you just cue the fascia to release and your body to relax and trust. And that can make a big difference. I'm a bit of a clencher that way, or a tightener upper. I'll just be watching a movie or something and notice that I'm holding myself really tense. And I'm like, what the hell? Stop doing that. So I'll stop for a while. But I know I do that in my sleep too. A lot of people that have this kind of conditions I have use a muscle relaxer for this very reason, because people with chronic pain tend to tense up in their sleep. I don't like muscle relaxers because they just make me feel like shit all day. So I've worked more on when I fall asleep, reminding myself not to do that, not to lock my knees. That's one. Not to lock my jaw, just to stay relaxed. And I had told my doctor one time, I said, yeah, I was locking my jaw really bad at night and my knee. And she said, okay, what do we need to do about that? And I said, oh, I took care of it. I said, I've just started thinking about it and reminding myself not to do that when I fall asleep. And she turned around and looked at me and she said, and that worked? And I said, uh-huh. I said, every once in a while I do it, and then I have to remember to go back to my nightly pep talk and not to do it. A reminder, and it works. And she just laughed. She's like, well, that's better than a muscle relaxer. I'm like, see? Now, if I really had to have a muscle relaxer, I would take one. But thus far, I'm winning the battle. But still, are you telling your body what you need it to do? You might not be. We haven't been conditioned to. Energetic touch and heat therapy. Where focus goes, energy flows. We know this, right? So what if you place warm hands on the area of discomfort with some pressure or without? What if you just put warm hands on that spot? Remember Mr. Miyagi, right? Heating up those paws and sticking it on the place. You can do that too. Imagine light flowing from your palms into your pain, acknowledging it, helping it to shift. If you prefer using tools, obviously heat packs, rice packs, or warm rice socks. Made a lot of rice socks in my day. Reiki infused touch, a hot bath or shower, a hot bath with Epsom salts and lavender. Just warmth and presence and acknowledgement is the key. How about journaling the pain's message? Now, I want to be clear on something, because we start towing the line here of, how did you attract this? Is this your fault? I hate that, and I'm not going to do that. Sometimes there is some emotion wrapped up in pain. Sometimes what you are holding something that you no longer need to carry, right? So it's wise to ask your pain, what emotion is wrapped up inside of this? What am I holding that I no longer need to carry? What would help me soften today? Ask yourself those questions. Sometimes there's an answer. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes it's just pain. Sometimes you just happen to fall down the stairs, right? I mean, sometimes pain is just pain. But sometimes there is some emotion in there that you can help your body to release. So do that. Work on that. But do not for a minute start blaming yourself that every bit of pain or misfortune in your life is your fault. Sometimes it just is what it is. And honestly, guys, when you fall into that, I love Louise Hay. I've loved Louise Hay for years, but I do not like the idea that if your knee hurts, that's because you're refusing to move forward. That might not be true. That might be true, right? That's just something to think about, not an absolute. And so on and so forth. I think that we have to be very careful with that set of belief systems. Do you know what I'm talking about? And if you believe it and you go with it, please don't let me offend you. To me, I think that assigning yourself responsibility slash blame for every bit of pain, sickness, whatever that your body experiences can be incredibly cruel and unkind. Because I promise you, nobody caused their breast cancer. I promise you, no 3-year-old caused their leukemia. I attest to you that nobody caused themselves a broken ankle from falling down the stairs because they thought something rude about their neighbor. Just fuck off with that stuff, right? It is not fair. It's not fair. It puts some kind of a scarlet letter on people that there's something wrong with them because they're doing things wrong, and that's why things are going wrong in their body. These are human bodies. They are not infallible. Every single one of us is going to die. Every single one of us is going to be sick from time to time and have pain. Your body is going to keep bodying. That's what it does. And believe it or not, you started dying the day you were born. It's just real. That's just reality. I'm not trying to be mean or macabre. That's just real. And if you can give yourself that kind of grace and just recognize, I mean, by the time girls are 12 years old, they have mostly stopped growing. By the time boys are 18 years old, they have mostly stopped growing. Do you realize that that's the point that your body starts to go the other direction? Yeah, it's minor. It's a little bit. But there's no wonder that most people, by the time they're in their 40s, at least have to have a reading glass, right? Reading glasses, something. Because your eyes have been going through this shit for 40 some years. Right? It's no wonder that my aunt sent me a meme the other day. She had to have a knee replacement recently. She sent me a meme that said, "Ain't no way that those knees dropped, those same knees dropped it like it's hot." Right? That these are the knees that dropped it like it's hot. Right? Maybe you did that in your 20s, and in your 40s you're like, "Nope, that would not be happening." Right? Your body's going to it's going to deteriorate. That's the nature of things. That's why I think you see a lot of older people that are like a young person in an old person's body, because that's exactly what they are, right? You have to deal with your body. It doesn't have to be a thing of shame. In our society, we don't talk about health problems because that's not polite. That's ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. We all have one of these. Every single one of us. We all have problems with these from time to time. We all benefit greatly from these as well. But come on. Come on. Be kind to yourself and be kind to other people. But don't make yourself feel responsible and feel like shit because you somehow attracted pink eye. Right? Pink eye. I don't know why I said that. Maybe you did. I don't know. But I think you get what I'm saying. Be kind to you. All right, here's an easy ritual for soothing pain. You need a small candle, you need a quiet place, and you need your breath. This is simple. Light the candle, hold it up into your heart, even briefly, don't burn yourself, but whisper, I release the need to fight myself. Put your candle in front of you, let it sit with you. I release the need to fight myself. How much are you fighting you? I know you are. In more than one way. When are you going to choose to stop suffering? This has been a hard one for me. I somehow have allowed myself to be conditioned, or maybe I conditioned myself. But you have to do it. Suck it up, buttercup. And about the time I turned 40, I said, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not suffering. If I don't feel good enough to go in at the grocery store, I'm not going in. If my legs hurt too bad to do this thing, I'm not doing that thing. Right? If I'm too tired for this, I'm not doing it. Amazingly, I feel like I have gotten much, much more accomplished since I stopped being so damn willing to suffer and created a better boundary. My body could finally heal. I finally gave myself some respect. We have been conditioned to do it all the time, no matter what. Right? Calling in sick? You better not. Saying I can't come to your party because I'm tired and need to take a nap? Bullshit. Suck it up, right? No. You don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. It is okay to take breaks. It is okay to acknowledge what you need. Yep. It's okay to acknowledge what you need. I release the need to fight myself. With each exhale, imagine pain melting like wax. You can sit with this for 2 to 5 minutes. Doesn't have to be a long time. Small rituals are enough. In fact, they're better. Because if rituals to help diminish pain and acknowledge pain become painful, you're not going to do them. Right? This is quick and easy stuff. Not punishing stuff. You're not broken. Your body's not betraying you. Pain is the language your body has. Right? Pain is the way your body says, hey, maybe don't eat ice cream before bed anymore. Right? Pain is what says, hey, maybe you shouldn't go walk through the mall today. Pain is the only language your body has. So talk to it. Sit with it. Quit fighting yourself. Quit being angry at yourself. Years ago, when a lot of things had flared up for me physically, I said, my spirit feels so disconnected from my body. It's like I'm over here trying to be healthy and feel good and spiritual and do all my things. And then I have this bullshit body over here that's in all this pain and screwed up. And I feel like my spirit wants a t-shirt with those little arrows that says, I'm with stupid, right? This isn't me. This isn't me. It really took me a while to figure out that, yes, it is you. And you don't have to be ashamed of that. And you don't have to fight yourself. You don't even have to be mean to yourself about it. You can just embrace who you are. You can embrace your pain. You can acknowledge your pain. And you can take care of your pain in your body. Just some thoughts. Kelly's Refeminist History this week is The Price of Permission: How Women Bought Their Way to Financial Freedom. This is a really interesting story about some women in Denver in the 70s who opened a bank. The bank called the Women's Bank of Colorado. This is when women still had a hell of a time getting loans, getting credit cards. I mean, they hadn't even been allowed to do that without the word of a man for very long. It's a really interesting story, and I love it. Kelly, thank you for all of your research and all of your hard work. You have taught me a lot. Okay, I did give you an EFT tapping points worksheet. So the tapping points that typically are used in your meridians are the top of your head, the eyebrow or the side of your eye or under your eye, under your nose, your chin, your collarbone, and it's really kind of down in your cleavage, is down in here. That is the most common place that people tap. You can also tap under your arm. You can karate chop with your hand. And honestly, guys, if you feel like tapping it at a different spot, do that. I've even just tapped directly on pain before and felt like that was really, really helpful sometimes. So don't feel like you absolutely have to just follow meridians. You can tap where you want to too. Christy's video this week is Healing the Weary Heart. She's got a bunch of new stuff she's been putting out and is awesome. And if you're not following her on YouTube, make sure you do. She's putting out a weekly show. She's putting out a lot of good content. Definitely follow her. All right, over at True Crime Squad, there's, well, crime. Check that out. But if you like True Crime Squad, but, too much of the heavy crime is too much for you, watch a True Crime Squad Halloween. That's an episode. It is all of the haunted colleges that I brought to you a couple weeks ago, but with more in-depth stories about what happened there, as well as 10 stories from Christy about crimes that created a haunting in certain places. It's interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. Lots of meditations over at Planet Meditation. And there you go. That is Luminous this week. So hopefully you found some gems in there. Sherry said, I text called in twice last week, then told myself, get out of bed in my mind. So I did. Those pep talks, man, you need them. Listen, I'm not above a good pep talk. You'd be surprised how many people call me on the lines and just say, I need a pep talk. Hype me up, girl. Sometimes you just need that. And I'm a good pep talker. I am. I will remind you that you're a baddie. Lillian said, that's real. I always think I've done something wrong when something bad happens. Yeah. Yeah. You guys, I have had clients and friends who blame themselves for natural disasters. Yeah. That's how much guilt we have had piled on us that we've let ourselves absorb. I've heard things like, I had a really horrible day yesterday. I was in a really bad mood. I had road rage. I was shitty to a barista. I was, got into it with someone at work. And then this terrible thing happened. And I know it was my fault because my energy was everywhere and I was being awful. Babes, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. But that is the kind of guilt we have been conditioned to lay on ourselves. Yeah. How do you make rice socks? Yeah, you heat them. So I just buy brand new socks, like a pack at the dollar store. They don't have to be fancy. Ankle socks to me are better. And then you just fill them up, well, maybe 3/4 of the way-ish or however full you want them with rice. You can also put some lavender buds in there if you want to. And then you just have to sew it shut. So this is an easy one because you sure don't have to have a sewing machine for that. You can just whip stitch it or, whatever kind of bullshit hand sewing you can put together. It doesn't matter. It's just for you, right? But I like these because they can easily, when they get grimy and gross, you can just dump the rice into a new sock or just throw it away and start over if that's what you want to do. Never dump your dry rice outside though, because animals will get into that and kill them. But so you can do it both ways. But then you just put it in the microwave. And when I put mine in the microwave, I always just put them on a paper plate or something, so that there's no grime from the microwave on them. They do not take very long. You'll have to practice with your microwave to see how much time you need. But in my microwave, I usually only microwave for 30 seconds and then I pull it out and squish it around and check it and decide if I want it to be hotter or not. But that's a really easy way to make a little rice bag for, a general owie. I use them on my jaw quite a bit when it flares up. Um, you're supposed to alternate heat and cold, but on that, cold is torture. I can't. So it's heat for me. But yeah, the rice bag or rice socks are super easy. Yeah. So that's what I've got. And thanks, you guys. Yeah. Sometimes I think this is just a topic that's good to revisit. We all have pain, right? We all have pain. That is because we all have human bodies that do the thing. So you're going to have pain from time to time, some of you more than others, but such is life, right? Don't forget, I am a professional psychic advisor over at one2listen.com. You can find me over there every single day. If I am busy or I'm not there and you want to talk to me, just do a callback request. If I'm busy, what will happen is that'll put you next in line so that when that call ends with whoever I'm talking to, the computer will immediately initiate a call with you. The downside of that is you don't know when that call is going to end, and I probably don't either, and so, but if you have 30 minutes and you know you're going to be around, that's a great option. If you want to do a scheduled call and say, hey, I know I'll be available at 4, so I'm going to schedule this. Can you meet with me at 4? I will get right back to you. We'll schedule it and make it happen. If I can't meet at 4, we'll reschedule it together and figure it out. Or if I'm just not there, do a callback request. I will get a text that says, hey, client so-and-so is waiting for you to sign in to talk to you. And I will sign in if I can. Wherever I'm at, I'll find a quiet place or, the minute I get to a spot where I can talk to you, I'll sign right back in. That's how it works. But to be honest, I'm signed in a lot. You'll find me over there quite a bit. I work 365 and I'm happy to do it. This is my life's work. This isn't just a job for me. It is a job because, well, everyone has their bills to pay, right? But this is also my life's work. I want to do this. I want to be here. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for being a part of my world. You guys have a great week. This has been yet another production of The Katie Weaver Show here on 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.